friends, this is Sin and welcome back to my channel, Stampin' Munchkins. So today I am going to be doing my design team project for Taylormadecards4u using Modern Girls 1950s Paper Dolls Digital Kit and The Value of Friendship. I wanted to get on again in person, face to face, to let you all know that I value all of you I consider all of you my friends, whether it's near or far. So thank you for being here, and let's start 2021 with caution, but optimistically. Happy New Year, everyone. This will be going live on January 2nd. Thanks. Let's get started. Here's the 4 cards we're making today, and I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a Shadowbox pop-up, slide out card. Anyway, here's the Modern Girls 1950s Business Women Digital Kit, and I just printed them out using my Nina 80-pound Classic Crest Solar White cardstock using my inkjet printer, and those are the images that I'm going to be using. And here's the cardstock that I used. And I did cut them out using my brother scan and cut, but I wanted them a little closer cut out, and I did have to use pencil marks so that it would cut out nicely, but I did fussy cut it. So I have all the measurements below, but you need a 5.5 by 6 1/4, and I couldn't figure out, I couldn't see the 6 1/4. So I used my calculator on my phone, and it's 8.5 inches minus 6 1/4 inches. So I need to cut off 2 1/4 inches to make it 6 1/4. So yeah, I had to do the math because I can't do it in my head. So that'll be the card base, and you need to score everything 1/2 inch and 1 inch on either end. So I just flip it over, and I'm using this really pretty black and white paper pad from Waffle Flower, and it's 8.5. No, it's 5 1/4 by 11, I believe. So anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure what the original is, but it is 5.5. So again, we're gonna cut it 5.5 by 6 1/4, and that'll be the card top. And same thing, score it 1/2 inch and 1 inch on each end. Just flip it over like I did. And this one I wanted a window, so I'm using my Waffle Flower A2 layers die. And I think this was the 5th largest. And I'm just making sure it's sort of centered. But I eyeball everything, so that's the only time I'll measure it. And it probably wasn't even centered. So we're going to be, and this paper is nice because it's 80 pound. So it's not like normal pattern paper where it's not, where it's just paper. So it has a nice substance to it. So I'm just folding it accordion style. And same thing with the base. The base is super thick. It's the accent cardstock in 120 pound. And I wanted it to have a nice thickness to it. So I'm just going to be putting, kind of auditioning what I want. And these women reminds me of my mom. She had her own business. She was an entrepreneur, and she would dress like this. I mean, she was just so awesome, my mom. She was so fashionable and always so well put together. Me, not so much. Tom girl or tomboy, and still kind of, don't own dresses or anything like that. So the inside, I wanted it to have a little substance, and kind of come off the page a little, floating in the middle. So I'm using my Hero Arts acetate sheets, and I'll be sandwiching that in between the 2 layers, the front and bottom, so that it'll be floating in the middle. So I I glued the paper doll women onto this. And in hindsight, I wish I just put them all on the right side, because you'll see that the hello covers their faces a little bit on the left. So I wish I planned it out a little better, but I still like how they turned out. So anyway, now I'm gluing the girls, the women, onto that acetate sheet so that they're floating and there's dimension. So, and I'll be putting some acrylic blocks on top to weight it down to make sure it has a good stick to it. And this first card, I'm just going to show you from the start to finish. And I'm using my Hello die from Altenew and cutting that out of the Gold Rush. It's like a matte gold cardstock. And I'm cutting that out once. And I'll be using my accent opaque 120 pound and in white because I want to build this up, and I'm going to have 2 layers of the white and just popping everything out. And I use my little Altenew little cutter, and I really like that for small dies. It cuts really nicely. So there's my 2 layers of the white, which I'll stack up right now using my Lawn Fawn liquid glue. So it has a little dimension because it's kind of floating halfway on and halfway off the front, which you'll see in a little bit. So I'll be doing that to all 4 because I'm making 4 cards. So stacking the 2 white, and I'll put the gold on top. And it's a, like I said, it's a subtle gold because it's a matte gold finish, like a brushed gold almost. I really like it. And even though it has gray, like a gray and white card front, I think I didn't want to go with silver because it would just be all too much gray and white. I didn't want a monochrome, so that's why I went with the gold. And as you can see, it'll be half on and off. So I'm just putting glue where it will be attached to the front. And when this is closed, it'll be a perfectly A2 size card to go inside an envelope. So I didn't want it outside of that frame. And now I'm going to be stamping You Are Amazing using the Hello and Hugs stamp set. And everything, as usual, will be linked below, using my creative corners to make sure it's straight. And my Misty 2.0 as always. And my VersaFine Nocturne in VersaFine in Nocturne. And now I'm doing the rest of the cards. So this is the 3 other card fronts that I chose, and I thought that rectangle that I used was a little too big, so I went one smaller, and I'll be cutting that out using my Gemini Junior. I'm going to be stamping. So now it's assembly line style since I made the first one, which was kind of like a prototype to make sure everything worked. And now I'm going to be stamping the You Are Amazing on each card front now that all the insides have been cut out. So now it's easier because it's not folded or scored. I mean, it's scored, but it's not creased yet. So it's nice and flat. So I'm doing that to all 3. They're all the same. Just wanted to show you my quick mass card producing process. And now I wanted to make sure I get the glue where it needs to be. So I have my little clothespin, and I'm just using my pencil to mark where the glue is. And I only do that to 1, so I can kind of see that they're all going to be the same. It's just using this as my template, I guess. So now I'll be adding that to the card front and just hanging, like I said. But again, I wish I put the girls, the women, on the right side. I should have thought about that. But I was in mass producing mode, so wasn't thinking. I smudged the VersaFine as it wasn't quite dry yet, so I have a little smudge in the front, but it's okay. I just let it go. It's a handmade card, right? And I will come later and right now, right here, I am just cutting a sliver off the side because I don't want it to overlap. Just a sliver, like not even 1/8 of an inch, so that it is nice and hidden from the front frame. So now I am scoring. I scored, but now I'm creasing using my Teflon bone folder all the front, or the back, the card base. Sorry, can't talk today. So I'm putting all the elements together. I'm putting all the, using my Lawn Fawn 1/8 inch tape, which is strong for my acetate. And I just need it on one side. So I'm doing that. And this acetate is 5 inches tall, but you can make it however long or wide you want it. It will determine what image you're putting on top. So if you're doing like a scene, you could have it wider and shorter. So it just depended on what image you're gluing on top of the acetate. So this, I wish I did the right side for all of them. So I glued down the bottom, which is Value of a Friend. And this hop, it's not a hop, sorry. This design team project is for Taylormadecards4u, and her shop has these amazing digital kits. And we got to choose which one we wanted to use, and I chose, again, these modern business women in the 1950s because they just reminded me of my mom. And I haven't had her in she's passed away over 27 years ago. And I still miss her. And I wish she was around so that we could talk story. But anyway, she was awesome and fashionable. And I'm just adding this on again. And I like this because, again, it's on the right side. But just gluing everything down using my liquid glue. This one was a little hidden, so I moved it over. So I'm just getting all my elements together. Here's the 3rd card. No, this is the last one. 4th card. And this lady reminds me of Audrey Hepburn, like Breakfast in Tiffany's. So beautiful. So I have lots of plans to use these digital kits in other ways. And I will show them in Instagram. So please follow me on Instagram if you can. And I'll be putting the top and bottom, the top panel and the bottom card base, just using my Lawn Fawn 1/8 inch tape again, as it is pretty strong. It's only an 1/8 inch, but it's strong. It stays on nicely. So I'm putting it on, and you will see me fiddle with it because sometimes it doesn't line up correctly, or I'll have to trim some of it off. Like this one was a little off, so I am putting it together, but it's still a little off. It doesn't fold flat, but I did fix it later. And you can pull the little tabs on the side to make it pop up, because that middle part is popped up with acetate, and it moves when you move the when you pull the sides, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what this is called, but I did make this years and years ago, and I thought I'd make it again in a video. It's so simple. You could use any it doesn't have to be a rectangle in the front. You can use an oval. You can have many layers. There's so much you could do with this. So here's the 4 cards. Again, they fold flat, and they're A2 size when they're folded flat, and put it in an envelope. And when the recipient opens it, they can pull the sides, and there it is. See, I like the one on the right because you can see the face. So it says, "Hello, you are awesome," and "Value of a Friend" inside. Everything will be linked below. I'll have the design team members below as well, so you can go visit everyone and see. This one is on the left, so it kind of hides their face, but you can still see it when you open it up. And this was my first one, but you see it's kind of wonky, but I did fix it. I made it fit better. And this is the Audrey Hepburn girl. Just love it. So I hope you enjoyed my design team project. And here's a better look at it. And please go visit Monica's shop, Taylormadecards4u. And here you can see the Hello gold cardstock better. I could bling it up, but I didn't. I kept it simple, as there's other, a lot of other things happening with this card. So pretty clean and simple. I love the white and gray background. So that's my project. I hope you enjoyed it. And here's another video you might like, and a card making playlist. And as always, thank you for being here, and we'll see you again. Aloha! I hope you had a happy new year. Thanks, guys.